Good morning. You can tell that it's early and that I didn't like much sleep last night because God got me up at about 3:30 and talked to me for a long time. Wanted me to do a video, but there was really no place I could do it without waking up people. We have kids sleeping out in the backyard and people downstairs sleeping in the living room and kids upstairs. So we just had people everywhere last night. And so he said, do it as early in the morning as you can. So I haven't even had my shower yet. You can see me in all my glory. God is teaching me humility through all this. So I'm assuming this is an important and timely message he wanted me to talk about. He wanted to get me up at 3:30 in the morning for me to talk about it. I'm going to give you a little bit of some backstory. This really doesn't have to do with any dreams. God is talking to me through dreams all the time. They are pretty personal dreams as we're kind of going through a refining fire in my family. And so I haven't shared anything, but God is speaking to me louder and louder just in my quiet times with him. And I've noticed the more I do that and the more obedient I am, I hear him. Like, I don't have to necessarily even sit down and sit quietly for a long period of time like I used to hear him. Like, I hear him instantly and more often. And that's the message that God wants me to talk about today, is that he is talking to people all of the time. All of the time. He is talking to you. I am nothing. I know he doesn't like when I say this. I'm nothing special. What I'm trying to communicate through that is I don't have any special abilities that you don't have. We all have these abilities to hear God. We all have the ability to decipher his messages through dreams. We all have the ability to heal. We all have the ability to see in the spirit, which, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We all have those abilities, but many of us haven't trained ourselves to do them. Okay, so let me kind of give you an example of what I've been learning. Okay, because this is I have not mastered this. You are seeing me walk this walk as I'm learning it. And so don't think Ginger's perfect at this. I am just walking it and allowing God to mold me in all of this. So I've been introduced through several videos to this man named John. Okay, his nickname is the Praying Medic. He has really two personas that are high profile on the internet. One has to do with the 17th letter of the alphabet, if you know what I'm talking about. He has done a lot of work deciphering the drops and figuring out what is going on in the world. I haven't dived in that side of him at all. But his whole other persona is that he is very much deeply connected to God, hears God. He's a prolific seer. He is just very connected to God in the spiritual realm. Let me give you a little bit of his background, because what he said really stuck with me, and you kind of need to know his background. So he was an EMT for 25 or 30 years, I can't remember. And before he was really spirit-filled, like went to a spirit-filled church and understood all that, he just felt the prompting one day to start praying over his patient in the back of his ambulance. And over time, as he kept praying over his patients, God started showing him visions of what's wrong with them. And so he could accurately help them And when he got them to the hospital, he could accurately tell the doctor what is wrong with him. And probably through that ability saved many lives. So he has written lots of books about how to hear God. I think it's like called How to Hear God Made Simple, and how to See in the Spirit Made Simple. I think those are the books. He's written like 14 or 15. I think all the titles are very similar to that. I have not read them yet, but he was explaining how we all have these senses, okay? Just like we do in the earthly realm. We have the ability to see, the ability to smell, taste, touch, all of that. But we have spiritual senses too. We all have them. We just need to hone them, okay? And you can do that by doing certain exercises that he has laid out in his book and that he talks about on his videos. And so, like for seeing in the spirit, he talks about the exercises that he tells people to do every night to be able to strengthen the ability to see in the spiritual realm, which would be really cool. I've only had like 1 or 2 visions, but that does not come on command like it does for him, because I have not honed that spiritual sense. Does that make sense? Okay. I've seen in the last 1.5 years in my life where God is honing the spiritual sense of hearing him clearly to me. And part of that comes with a quick obedience. Like, you have to feel the intuition of what God is saying to you, and you have to act quickly. And the more you do that, the more God, I feel like, hones that hearing. Like, you go, okay, you're hearing me. Let's continue this. So let me give you a few examples. One example I kind of have talked about previously is when I was in the stairwell when I fell back in late March, early April. I think it was early April. And I knew that there were angels in that stairwell. And there's lots. I didn't see them. I've never seen an angel. But I felt the presence. There was something going on. There was some kind of warfare going on that God knew I was going to be stepping into. And as I was tumbling backwards and trying to find something to grab onto, I heard don't fight, just let go. And immediately I stopped struggling. And then all I remember is that my jaw and face hit the floor. And then I heard that pop in my neck. And my chiropractor yesterday was working on me, like he does 3 days a week since my accident. And he said, Ginger, he said, you doggone nearly broke your neck. And probably doggone nearly broke other bones in your body. And I told him, I said, I heard God say, let go, don't fight, and relax. And I said, if I fought, like on a drunk driver, the drunk driver never gets injured, but the other car does because they tense up. The drunk driver is so loose and they don't really get as injured. I said, I was so relaxed in that moment that I think if I fought, I would have broken so many bones. He goes, yeah, I think you would have. And I realized that God told me that because he knew what was going to get me out of that situation the safest. I've had, I would say, I don't know if they're dreams or visions or whatever, but of angel wings wrapping me as I hit the floor after my accident. I keep having the same image pop up. So I know I felt them, and God's confirming that with this image that he keeps giving me. And I heard God and hearing his voice, and instantly, I didn't have a second to go, is this God? Like sometimes I do. Instantly I reacted, and it kept me from breaking bones. I truly believe that. Another example I'm going to give you, and this is fun. This is such a fun example. So I have never been a very good giver in my life, and God has been really hammering that side of my life harder and harder the last year or so. And so it was explained to me by Robin Bullock in one of his videos. This is so just helpful. I think it's helpful to you. I hope it's helpful to you too. So he explains giving as that anything that is done in the name of God or Jesus cannot be touched by Satan. Okay? He can't touch it. And money touches everything. So if we give it in the name of God or Jesus, Satan can't touch it, and it touches everything. And so I have been learning more and more to keep cash in my car just to give if someone's asking for it. Don't even ask questions. Like if God is saying, give. Like I'll ask God, do you want me to give to this person? Give. Okay, I'll give. And so I've been learning to do that more and more. And for church, I don't tithe electronically. I write a check every time I tithe because I want to hear God say the exact amount he wants me to give. And if I've already tithed it electronically, it doesn't allow me to give more. I guess I could always put more in the plate, but I just like the feel of writing out and sacrificing it. It's harder for me to do that. I think it'd be much easier if I tied it to my bank account. But this is a way that God is really making it meaningful to me. So I write out a check every time I give. And last Sunday, I heard him say, throw in another $100. And I'm like, okay, I'm still paying medical bills. And he's like, just put in another $100. And I sat there and I was like, okay, I wrote out half the check. How can I change this? So I changed it and gave it to, there's some kids that sit in front of me that like to give. And I love watching them give because all the kids at this church, they literally dance and run down the aisle to give. Love it. It makes my heart happy every Sunday. And so I gave one of them my check, and we sat down waiting for the time to give. And the preacher gets up there and I'm telling you, it's not like 3 minutes past the time I wrote that check. And he said, I want to encourage you, if you have extra money, just a little extra money, just go ahead and put it in the plate if you feel like you can, and God's calling you to do so, because we had a really big bill with our air conditioning unit that had to be paid this week. And he goes, bills will always be paid. We know that in faith. I'm just letting you know, because a lot of you don't know that our air conditioner broke. We're in Arkansas, okay? It's hot in July. We needed the air conditioner fixed. And I had no clue, because by the time I got there, it was fixed. And I wouldn't have known that they had an extra bill to pay. And so as soon as he said that, I just felt God chuckling in my spirit. And he knew I needed to give before I knew I needed to give. Okay? He told me to give before I knew there was a need. And I'm learning to hear him better and hesitate less, especially when it comes to my giving. And last Sunday, that was such a great confirmation of, yes, you hear me, and, I am directing your steps. You are my hands and feet, and I'm directing them. Just keep listening. And I feel like that's just a wonderful, it was just a wonderful reminder, because sometimes when you hear God, you question, is this really God? Am I going crazy? So I want to encourage you all that everybody hears God. You just may not realize it. And if you know my testimony, you know that I've heard God for a very long time. I just didn't know it was him. I just thought I had really great intuition, great instincts. I was called an empath because I knew things I shouldn't have known. And that's because the Holy Spirit was speaking to me and through me. So I want to encourage you all that you all hear him. You might have not honed that sense of hearing in the spiritual realm. All right, and I want to encourage you that we all can hear him. I was so encouraged when I was traveling. I got to speak with a lot of people that I'm related to, and some of them came and they're like, I'm so glad that you are doing these videos, because I feel like God is stirring in me, and I'm having these dreams, and I'm hearing God, and it feels lonely because I didn't grow up with this, and I didn't grow up in a church that believes this, and I'm sure my family would think I'm crazy, and several people told me that, and it's exactly, I have all those feelings, and it's very scary to come on and do these videos, but I'm trying to hear God, and that was confirmation to me. It's like, God is doing these videos for a purpose. And I know I haven't done them in a long time because he is working in me and my family, and that's what he's focusing on, and he has let up on this so that I can focus on that. And I'm so thankful for that. But I want to tell you, if you are feeling like that, you are not alone. Let me tell you, when he woke me up at 3:30 this morning, there was such a strong sense in me, I guess I would say. I knew that something was happening in the spirit realm. I knew that there's a change. And this feeling inside of me that I know that things are turning, that the tide is turning, that something big is happening in the spiritual realm. I have felt that sense growing in me over the last year and a half. God is strengthening my ability to feel in the spirit. I've always been able to feel in the spirit. That's when I go in a room and I feel like there is like spirits in there that shouldn't be in there. I either bind them and send them out, or I just don't go in there. Like, I know I'm very cautious around people because I can feel in the spirit. But God is strengthening that ability on like the global scale. Like, I can feel when the governmental tides are turning. And yesterday, or this morning at 3:30, I woke up and God was really speaking deep into that. And I was like, the tide is turning. I know it is. Like, it's turning again. Like, it's something big is happening. And it just brought me back to some conversations I was having while I was on vacation about people are waking up, both in the political and global sense as well as the spiritual sense, and that I'm not the only one that he's doing the stirring in. I'm not the only one that he is growing by leaps and bounds in my spiritual senses. When I was talking to other people, it was so good to hear of them having dreams more and more, and that God was giving them pieces to that puzzle, or God was talking to them audibly, or God was talking to them in the spirit so deeply, he was sending signs of confirmation in their room. And he was doing these things more and more. And I'm like, I know we're talking about this, but let me tell you, and I've gotten messages from people after I do these videos that this is happening way more than we think it is. That God is waking up his ecclesia, and he is making big strides in their learning and in the growth of their senses. Something is happening very deeply, spiritually, and in the governmental realm at the same time. And I feel it, and a lot of people are feeling it. So if you are going to church, or you're just living your life and you're feeling God is stirring you and growing you, and there are things happening in you, latch onto that. Latch onto that. That's what God was saying this morning. Latch onto that. Lean into that and grow it. Okay? Grow it. So if you feel like God is speaking to you just a little bit, sit with that. Ask for more. Let him speak. I know it is scary letting go of that, because you think you're going crazy. I'm hearing God speak in my spirit, and it's so hard to explain what that is. It's like the first thing you think of, or a strong intuition. And if you lean into that, God will say more and more. It might start out to be a word. He said, "my child," to me a lot at the very beginning, "my child." And then he started speaking phrases that have been something that has been very intimate between him and me. Phrases like, "I am yours and you are mine." And he will say that over and over again. Those are my confirmation from him that he is speaking to me. And then he'll start speaking to you more and more, and tell you things about the world, and tell you things about your children, and tell you things about your life. It is amazing. And I am walking in that now more and more because of the confirmations he's giving me. More and more I'm seeing that what he's telling me is turning out to be true. And so I want to live more into that, because that's my guide. I say, turn off the news. It is not your guide. It is a false prophet. It will lead you the wrong way. I get my news from God. I get my news from other people who have honed those spiritual senses way more than me, because I still feel like a baby at this. And that's why God is having me do these videos, because I am a baby at this. And he wants to say, you can start as a baby. You all will start as babies, and that's okay. You don't have to be proficient at it to begin with. I want to start you small. I want to grow you as a seed and grow you into a big oak tree. That's what God is saying. So I'm doing this video today to reassure those who are hearing or feeling changes in their spiritual realm to lean into it. I'm also encouraging those who don't. You can. Okay? We all have these abilities. We all have all of these abilities. We just have to hone them. There's many senses I have not honed yet. And there's a lot more growth I need to do in the ones I have started to hone. So I want this to be encouragement to you to lean into that and to grow into that. Okay. All right. I think that's all I need to say right now about that. I need to go take a shower and do something about this hair. That's what I need to do. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend, a blessed morning. Go in his shalom.